I will continue with economy analysis. Economy analysis have monetary policies and fiscal policies. Monetary policy is set a tool to promote suitable economic growth, provide to the central banks to control the overall available money supply or control over the quantity of money available in the economy and the new money channel supply. The purpose of monetary policy is to ensure that economy is always on the right track with the rate of movement that is not too cool and not too hot. Managing the money supply, the central bank also aim to influence macroeconomics factors including consumption rate, inflation, economic growth, and overall liquidity. Next, to discourage spending or more borrowing, the central bank may set interest rate on those loans. Central banks set the rate charge for lending money to nation bank. All financial institutions will modify the rate of charge to customer when there is an increase and decrease in the rate. Finally, customer will prefer to borrow when rate is low. Next is for fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is government spending and tax policy that affect the economy, such as macroeconomic conditions, including aggregate demand for service and goods, inflation, economic growth, and employment. Fiscal policy also different from monetary policy in that it is formulated by the central bank and not elected government officials. Fiscal policy is used to look at the economic problems faced by country. Next is for economic factor. In the economy, there are various economic factors. One of these is interest rate. Interest rate is affect cash liquidity in the economy. An increase in cash flow and a decrease in domestic investment will result in the decrease in national liquidity or otherwise. Then, if the return of investments is high, it will attract investors to invest in the country. But if the loan interest increase and decrease in domestic cash flow will result in national liquidity, while a decrease in interest rate and domestic loan cash flow will increase, followed by increase in national liquidity. Next is inflation. Inflation is the increases in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over time and has risen to its higher in recent months. Prices rising faster in transportations, housing, food, and other. Bank Negara has headlines inflation in the country to average between 2.0 to 3.0% amid higher commodity prices and prolonged global supply disruption. Lastly, for the economic factor is the exchange rate. Exchange rate accrue when have export and import activities, so there will be an exchange rate. Next, the value of money in the one country will be compared with value of the other country. To get money for the foreign countries have to pay with national money. For example, to get $1 require 4 ringgit 90 cents. So this show the exchange rate in economy.
Good day, madam. My name is Komadi Selvaraju. My metric number is 268002. I'm going to explain for the industry analysis. So here the logo of the 5 companies. So the first company that I'm going to explain is Dialog Group Berhad. So Dialog is a leading integrated technical service provider to the energy sector in Malaysia and internationally. So it's established in 1984. Dialog has been grown both originally and through strategically alliance with internationally renowned technology partners. Dialog serves a diverse range of customers that include multinationals, energy majors, and national energy companies, as well as multinational engineering service provider located throughout the year. So Dialog is listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia with a market capitalizations of approximately 13 million by September 2021. Dialog was included in the FPM KLCI in June 2018, the vision of this group is to leading the integrated technical service provider to the energy sector in Malaysia and internationally. So Dialog Group believe that as a responsible and caring corporate citizen, it's actively support the nation's aspirations and serve the best interests of the communities in which they are work and live. So in this line, the group aspired to achieve the net zero carbon emissions by 2050 and will continue to pursue the renewables, including clean and green energy projects as well as recycling ventures. Okay. The second company is Kobe Technology Berhad. So it's established in 1984. Kobe has made a name of itself as one of the leading one-stop engineering solutions provider in the region. So in 1997, Kobe were listed on the market of Bursa Malaysia Security Berhad. The manufacturing divisions is their core segment, which counted for over 90% of the total revenue in final year 2021. So financial year 2021 was one of the most testing periods in the group history, 37-year history. So at the group level, net profit financial year 2021 improved by 11.8 and saw to all-time high of 26.8 million, surpassing the previous record of 23.9 million attained last year. Notwithstanding of 20.5, declining in revenue, adding to this was also our their consecutive year of rising net profit since 2017. Net profit margin for 2021 reached 17%, 49 percentage points higher than the 12.1% for financial year 2020, doubling the group 5-year median of 8.7. So Kobe factory utilization rate was near maximum relative to the capacity allowed for any point in time during the financial year. So Kobe Technology top competitors include BSLE, E-Structural, Seco Tools, and Industrial Thermopolymers. So Kobe Technology has a reputation for their innovation skills, premium quality, electric product line. They are competing in one of the world's toughest markets. Okay, next is Gas Malaysia Berhad. Gas Malaysia Berhad was established on 16 May 1992 to sell, market and distribute natural gases, as well as to develop, operate, maintain the natural gas distributions and within Peninsular Malaysia. By 31 December 2019, Gas Malaysia has successfully unbundled its business operation into two entities with a widening of distributing license and a shipping license from Suruhanjaya Tenaga. These two entities, which are both wholly owned by Gas Malaysia, are Gas Malaysia Sdn Berhad and Gas Malaysia Energy and Services Sdn Berhad. So the second, GMES, is to make arrangement with reclassification, transportations or distribution license for gas to be processed or delivered via their facility to consumer premises. Gas Malaysia to top competitors include JVPPC, Deutschland, Punch Laboratories and Sinchuang Natural Gases. Next, Esmi Holdings Berhad. So Esmi Holdings Berhad are principally involved in property development and manufacturing of diverse plasticware products. During the financial year, they did not launch any new development project. Despite operating in uncertain business environment brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, Esmi Property Development divisions recorded a better performance in the financial year of 2021 compared to the previous financial year. Recorded a drop in revenue contributions from 1.7 million achievement in financial year 2020 to 1.1 million in financial year 2021. The decrease was a result of the MCO, which resulted with no revenue being generated during the temporary closure of business from 18 March 2020 to 3 March 2020. Furthermore, several implementations of MCO have been caused a reduction in demand from their customers. Due to poor demand, the divisions also ceased its productions of plastic and wooden audio speaker. The last is BIMB Holdings. So this is BIMB Holdings was established in a year of 1997 in a house one-stop total Islamic financial solution and nurture a diverse range of Sharia compliance offering for a budding new industry. For the year in review, the financial industry as a whole was impacted by lower net financing income arising from multiple downward revisions of overnight policy rate (OPR). So recently, responding to the year challenges, their subsidiary leverages strong fundamental to chart significant achievement. The Bank Islamic Group asset portfolio quality remains strong, recording a lower gross impaired financing ratio than the banking system at 0.67%. Net financing remained robust at 10.5% year-on-year growth, and total capital ratio was strong 19.8%. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ibrahim Ali Hirsi, metric number 274854. My part is the technical analysis. I'm going to be talking right now about the MACD, which is the moving average divergence. The relationship between two moving averages of a security price is shown by moving average divergence, a trend following momentum indicator, by subtracting the 26-period exponential moving average EMA from the 12-period EMA. The MACD is calculated. The MACD line is the result of the calculation on top of the MACD line. A 9-day EMA of the MACD, dubbed the signal line, is drawn, which can be used as a trigger for buy and sell signals. When the MACD crosses above the single line, traders can purchase the asset. When the MACD crosses below the signal line, traders can sell or short the security. Moving average convergence and divergence indications can be interpreted in a variety of ways, although crosses and divergence are the most popular and rapid rise and falls. By subtracting the long-term EMA 26 periods from the short-term EMA, the MACD Bursa Malaysia is calculated 12 periods. An exponential moving average EMA is a sort of moving average MA that gives the most recent data points more weight and relevance. The exponentially weighted moving average is another name for the exponential moving average. A simple moving average SMA, which gives equal weight to all observations in the period, reacts less strongly to recent price movements than an exponentially weighted moving average. Now learning from MACD. When the 12-period EMA indicated by the red line on the price chart is above the 26-period EMA, the blue line in the price chart, the MACD Bursa Malaysia, has a positive value shown as the blue line in the lower chart. And when the 12-period EMA indicated by the red line on the price chart is below the 26-period EMA, the MACD Bursa Malaysia has a negative value, shown as the greater the MACD distance above or below its baseline, the greater the distance between the two EMAs. The two EMAs applied to the price chart correlate to the MACD blue passing above or below its baseline, dashed in the indication below the price chart as shown in the chart below. MACD Bursa Malaysia is frequently accompanied by a histogram. See the graph below, which depicts the distance between the MACD and its signal align. The histogram will be above the MACD baseline if the MACD is above the signal line. The histogram will be below the MACD's baseline if the MACD is below its signal sign. The histogram of the MACD is used by traders to determine when bullish or bearish momentum is high. Now the pros and cons of using MACD. The pros: MACD can be utilized as a trend and momentum indicator, and the MACD crossover and divergence outlined above provide obvious buy and sell signals. For added clarity, MACD can be used in conjunction with other technical approaches. Cons: it has the potential to produce misleading reversals. The MACD divergence may provide reversal signals, although this does not always imply a significant reversal. It could indicate that the trend is taking a break or moving sideways before continuing. As a result, MACD is unable to predict all reversals. MACD may not always provide an accurate analysis of a trend. Before a trend reversal, trend following signals may fail or produce minor movement. Relative Strength Index. Now, the Relative Strength Index, RSI, the relative strength indicator is used to determine if a market is overbought or oversold based on recent price levels. The RSI is a price oscillator that measures average price gains and losses over time, with values ranging from 0 to 100. The default time period is 14 periods. The MACD Bursa Malaysia may access the relationship between the two exponential moving averages, whereas the RSI monitors price movement in respect to recent highs and lows. These two indicators are frequently used in conjunction to give analysts a more comprehensive technical picture of a market. Both of these indicators reflect market momentum, but because they measure distinct parameters, they can occasionally offer contradictory results. The RSI, for example, may display a reading above 70 for a lengthy period of time, indicating that the market is overextended to the buy to the buy side in reference to recent prices, while the MACD suggests that the market is still gaining buying momentum. By displaying divergence from price, and any indicator may indicate an implementing trend change. Price continues higher while the indicator turns lower, or vice versa. Moving averages. The moving averages convergence divergence is a term coined by Gerald Appiel in the late 1970s to describe the relationship between two moving averages. The difference between a 26-day and a 12-day exponential moving average is known as MACD EMA. The 12-period MACD is faster and more responsive to price fluctuations in the underlying security, where the 26-day MACD is lower and lesser responsive on the MACD chart. A signal line 9-period indicators moving average is shown to clearly show buy sell opportunities in wide swinging trading marketplaces. The MACD is most useful. The MACD oscillator is one of the most basic and effective momentum oscillators accessible. As the moving averages converge, intersect, and diverge, the MACD moves above and below zero. Because the MACD is moving average, because the MACD is unbounded, it is not particularly useful for identifying overbought and oversold levels. Colin, 2020. Now, simple moving average. Okay. MACD shows the relationship between two moving averages of a financial instrument. It combines price points of an instrument over a specified time frame divided by the number of data points to give a single trend line. SMA, simple moving average, the most basic MA, which is just a straight calculation of the mean price of a set of values over a given time period. If you were to calculate the SMA for a 10-day period, you would take the sum value over of the last 10 days and divide the result by 10. Now, exponential moving average, a type of moving average that gives more weight to recent prices, which involves three steps. The SMA is computed first. Next, we must calculate the multiplier for weighting the EMA. The final step involves the use of formula to compute the current EMA.
Hi, my name is Ahmed Ali Harsi, metric number 274853, and I will continue from where Ibrahim stopped. I'll be talking about supportive and resistance. So, trading level support and resistance are without a doubt two of the most widely debated aspects of technical analysis. These terms are used by traders to refer to price levels on charts that tend to behave as barriers preventing the price of an asset from being pushed in a given direction as part of the evaluation chart patterns. This rationale and concept behind identifying these levels appear simple at first glance, but as you will see, support and resistance can take many forms, and the notion is more difficult to grasp than it appears. Support and resistance defined. A price level at which a downturn is expected to pause due to a concentration of demand and purchasing interest is known as support. The support line is formed when the price of assets or securities fall and demand for the shares rises. Meanwhile, resistance zones form as a result of increasing selling interest when prices climb. Once a zone or area of support or resistance has been identified, those price levels can be used as a potential entry or exit points. Because when a price reaches a point of support or resistance, it will either bounce back away from it or violate it and continue in its own direction until it reaches the next level of support or resistance. Some trades are timed based on the assumption that support and resistance levels will not be violated. Traders can wager on the direction and rapidly assess if they are accurate, whether the price is stalled by the support or resistance level or breaks through. The position can be closed at a little loss if the price swings in the wrong direction. However, the price swings in the proper direction, the change might be significant. The other side of the coin is support levels. Support refers to price on a chart that operate as a floor by keeping an asset's price from falling further. The ability to recognize a level of support can also coincide with the purchase in the charts below, because this is typically the area where market participants find value and being a gain. Example of how to use support levels. Assume you're researching the price histories of shares in the fictional Borsa Malaysia company, which trades under the ticker name MTC. You are attempting to figure out the best time to start a long-term job with the organization. MTC has traded between 7 ringgit and 50 ringgit per share during the last year. MTC stock rises to 50 ringgit in the second month of the time you're studying, but by the fourth month it has plunged to 7 ringgit. It rises to 50 ringgit in month 7 before declining to 10 ringgit in month 9. By month 10, it has climbed back to 50 ringgit, then dropped to 30 ringgit for the next 30 days, before returning again to 50 ringgit. You have a support level of 7 ringgit and resistance levels of 50 ringgit at this moment. You can place a purchase order near the lower end of the range if there are no other troubling technical or fundamental factors. If you place your order at the 7 ringgit support level, an upswing may develop and your order may never be executed, despite the fact that properly predicted the upside. This is another reason why, in addition to straightforward assistance, it is critical to examine more complex indicators. You have definitely built a resistance levels of 50 ringgit at this point. If you don't see any reason for the stock to break out of the trade range it's been in for the past year, now is a good moment to sell it short, because the market has proven that once MTC stocks exceeds 50 ringgit and available the market, thereby halting its further climb. However, eye of a stock such as a flourishing economy or new significant business strategy outweighs technical factors, resistance, and priest and left behind. The difference between support level and resistance level. If the support level is the lowest price that a stock will not fall below, the resistance level is the highest price that a stock will not rise over. Consider the support level to be on the ground and the resistance levels to be the sky.
In conclusions, we choose 5 stocks in Bursa Malaysia to buy and sell stock. And to fulfill this assignment, we are instructed invest with among 100,000 ringgit for each company. That company is Dialog Group Berhad, Kobe Technology Berhad, Gas Malaysia Berhad, SCME Holdings, and Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad. As a result for the tradings, the high-end gain profit is Kobe Technology Berhad, followed by Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, then is Gas Malaysia Berhad, and Dialog Group Berhad. Lastly is SCME Holdings. From this, we can see that which company has good performance and which one is not. So, from these two situations, we can know that stock price may be have affected by many various factors and making price fluctuates. So, before we invest, we need to do technical analysis to help us to making decision.